Namaste, welcome everyone. My name is Kassandra and I'm going to take you through a new moon slow flow stretch practice. I really love to link my yoga practice with the moon phases as well as with the seasons. I find this to be a great way for me to really connect to my intuition and to stay grounded. So energetically and symbolically, the new moon is the time of the month where everything begins. You can think of it as day zero. This is the time of darkness, and like planting a seed into the soil, this is the time where we want to plant our own seeds of intention. So for this next lunar cycle, for the next 4 weeks, this is your opportunity to get really clear, to turn inwards. So forgetting about everyone else and everything else that's happening outside of you, we turn in and ask ourselves the more difficult questions of, how do I want my life to go? What do I need more of? What do I need less of? Where is my energy best spent? And really carving out an intention and holding it within for the next 4 weeks. Often energetically, this can be the time of the month where our energy levels are at their lowest. So we are going to do a really grounding, slow practice, no strength required. This is really just flexibility, finding some comfort in our bodies, and finding a sense of inner peace. So again, it's always to quiet things down so we can listen to our own intuition, to our own inner voice. Whenever we do lunar practices, I always recommend having a journal close by so that at the end of our practice, you can write down what your intention is and any other insights that came to you. You don't need any props for this practice, and many of our poses will be done lying down. So we are going to start down in Supta Baddha Konasana, our reclined butterfly pose. So bring the soles of your feet together, knees apart. And I like to take one form of Yoni Mudra, which is thumbs and index fingers together, making a little triangle here with the palms and resting this on the womb space, on the lower abdomen. Yoni Mudra being one that we use for intuition and to tap into the feminine parts of ourselves. And take some deep breaths here, in and out through your nose. New moon is also sometimes called the dark moon. So you can't see it when you look up at the sky. And we want to cultivate that darkness within. Not a darkness that feels scary or threatening, but a darkness that feels private, that feels peaceful and intimate. It's like the darkness of potential, the nothing that comes before something. So letting go of expectations others have placed on you, expectations you may have placed on yourself. Instead, we want to get really honest and really curious to see what we want and what we need right now. So take 10 more breaths right here in this pose. Beginning to ask yourself what you want your intention to be. And release this Yoni Mudra. It might feel good just to stretch your arms up overhead. Keep your legs as they are. Focus on finding and cultivating this length through your upper body, reaching out long through your arms. And now slide your arms back down towards your knees and help your knees lift up. And just take an internal hip rotation here, feet wide. Let your knees fall in towards one another, just for a breath or two. A little counter pose. And bringing your feet neutral here. And bring your right knee towards your right shoulder, maybe staying here or taking your half happy baby pose. Ananda Balasana. Elbow to the inside of the knee to open it up a little bit wider. I like to let my left knee flop open as a little bit of a counterweight and counterbalance. Notice where there is tension in your body. Try to release it with your breath. The new moon is associated with the crone archetype, the wise woman, the season of winter, the direction of north, and the element of earth. Cross your right ankle over the top of your left knee and just see if you can interlace your fingers either behind your left thigh or at the front of your shin as you pull it in, getting a little deeper into the glutes. We really want to give ourselves full permission to rest at this time of the month, to do less, to sleep more, to really honor the whole of ourselves. Give that thigh one last squeeze and then let your left foot come back down to the floor. We're going to take an IT band stretch so you can let your left thigh and leg come down to the mat, right foot coming down to the floor. You'll notice your right knee is going to want to fall in. Try to keep it pressed up so you can use your left hand to push the thigh up. Maybe reach your right arm out to the side so both shoulder blades stay grounded. One more big breath here. And slowly come all the way back through to center. Uncross and we'll switch sides. Draw your left knee towards your left shoulder, maybe staying here or taking half happy baby variation, letting the right knee flop open a little bit. So you're trying to press your left knee wide while also pulling it down towards the floor. New moons are opportunities for new beginnings. So what new beginning do you need? Cross your left ankle over the top of your right thigh and go ahead and pull your right knee in towards your belly, holding on to whatever is appropriate for you here. This is not about pushing and pulling and using more effort than is required. Really conserve your energy. And set your right foot flat to the floor. Find that figure four shape, IT band stretch. Let your right thigh drop down to the side until your left foot comes in contact with the floor. You can use your right hand to push the knee away from your belly. Chest is facing up towards the sky. Stay with your breath, slow and steady, in and out through your nose. And go ahead and lift to make your way back through to center. And let's stretch it out here. Reach your arms up overhead, straighten your legs. And you can roll to one side, use your arms to push into the floor to come up. And we'll come to our tabletop pose on hands and knees. So adding a little bit of flowing motions here. We're gonna do a little bit of dynamic movements from cat and cow into our child's pose. So as you inhale, you're gonna drop the belly, lift the gaze. And as you exhale, round and contract and push your hips back towards your heels. As you inhale, come back, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, round and contract and push it back. Keep going here a few more times with the rhythm of your breath. Getting into all the different areas of your spine. And bringing some motion and mobility into your hips. Last one here. Inhale, little back bend. Exhale, press it back. Stay in your child's pose for a few moments. Relax your shoulders, relax your arms. Let's find our first downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Tuck your toes under and lift your hips up and back. You can bend one knee, straightening the other leg as you push into the heels. Think of curling your tailbone up towards the sky, pressing your chest towards your thighs. We're not going to be here long because, again, we're not trying to focus on strength too much. Walk your feet forward to the top of the mat for your Ragdoll Fold. Your feet can be as wide as the mat. Bend your knees generously, grabbing a hold of the upper arms or the elbows, swaying a little bit side to side. Let yourself fully dangle here. And we'll take some cleansing breaths so we are releasing the old, making room for the new. Inhale through the nose and big exhale out the mouth. Two more. Bring your fingertips down to the floor, bend your knees. Make sure your toes are pointing towards the top of the mat. Step your left foot all the way back, left knee down to the mat on Janiasana. Keep your fingertips down on the floor for this one. Think of opening and broadening through your heart. And start to push into your right heel, straightening the right leg as you fold, getting deeper into the hamstrings. So what is your intention for this lunar cycle, roughly the next 4 weeks or so? And go ahead and bend into your right knee again, and we'll add a quad stretch so you can plant your left hand down, reach your right arm back, grab a hold of your left foot as you pull it in. Really roll that right shoulder back. big expansion. Carefully release the hold of that foot. We'll come into Anahatasana, our puppy pose. Keep your hips over your knees. Walk your palms forward and melt your heart down towards the floor. So relaxing the forehead to the mat. Try to soften the space between your shoulder blades, staying close to the earth. Slide forward onto your belly, Bhujangasana, Cobra Pose. Bring the palms down, push into your hands, lift up through your heart. Inhale. Exhale to release, Balasana, Child's Pose. Big toes together, knees apart, fold in here. Take a few breaths. So we're pausing after every little flow for a few moments, just to check in to see how you feel. Making sure the breath is easy and flowing. And stay kneeling, just walk your hands back in. Bring your fingertips behind you as you lift up through your chest, squeezing your shoulder blades and your elbows as if they were going to touch. Expand through your heart, back into our downward facing dog. Nice and slow, take your time, lifting up. This is just a transition. From here, you can walk your feet forward to the top of the mat, into that fold, bending your knees, maybe holding onto the elbows as you sway side to side. And we'll take those same 3 cleansing breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Fingertips down to the floor, step your right foot back on Janiasana Low Lunge, right knee comes down to the mat. You want to make sure you have your left knee over your ankle. Reach with your heart, soften your shoulders down and away from your ears. Let your hips be heavy as you get deeper into the hip flexors. And now stretch into the back of the leg by pressing into the heel. No tension in your jaw. Back into that low lunge, adding a quad stretch. Right hand is down. Extend your left arm back and grab a hold of the foot as you pull it in. So you're trying to draw your heel in towards you while keeping the hips nice and heavy. Into your puppy pose. Anahatasana, hips over your knees, walk the hands out, melt it down. You need to draw the low belly in a little bit here, focusing more on dropping your chest towards the floor as opposed to dropping your belly towards the floor. Connecting to the earth, let's move Bhujangasana into your Cobra Pose. Walk the hands back, push into the floor, open through your heart. Lower it down, Balasana, press your hips back. Checking in here again. And you might imagine that you're practicing in the dark of night. connecting to your own intuition, your own inner wisdom. What is your intention? What is your new beginning? Walk your hands back. Let's just broaden through the chest again here. So coming up onto the fingertips, expand and reach. And release, and we'll find our last little downward facing dog or last little poses that require it. We'll just come into our pigeon pose. Using this as a transition, reach your right leg up to the sky, bend your knee, open up your hip, and then you can bring your right knee to your right wrist, stretching that back leg behind you, open up, inhale, and fold, exhale. Holding here for 5 deep breaths. Try to relax your arms, relax your shoulders. Whatever tension is lingering in your body, see if you can let go, even just a little bit of it. And start to come back out. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog, just a transition to feel the effects of the pose on this side. Let's reach our left leg up, bend your left knee, open your hip, and bring your left knee to your left wrist. Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. Pigeon pose, square off the pelvis, and then fold on down. 5 deep breaths right here. And when you think of the intention you want to set, make sure that this is one you are doing for yourself. So not an intention based on what other people think you should do or what other people want for you. This is an opportunity to align yourself with your values, your desires, your dreams. This is an intention that comes from integrity and authenticity. And we'll come back out. This is truly our final downward facing dog. Make any little movements and adjustments that feel good for you here. And we'll come to Malasana. Walk your feet forward, somewhere towards the middle of the mat, heels in, toes out, bend your knees, drop your hips down. You can use your elbows to push the knees open wider as you lift up tall. Try to evenly distribute the weight through all 4 corners of both feet. And set your hips down to the mat, and we're going to lower all the way down onto our back. Bring your right knee in towards your chest and stretch your left leg out in front of you. Making this really passive and easy. You might sway the right knee a little bit side to side. And you might close your eyes, focusing inward. And we'll carry this over into a twist. Right knee makes its way over to the left. You can reach your right arm out and maybe stay here, or you can extend that right leg straight, sliding the left hand down towards your right ankle. Five breaths right here. If your right leg was straight, you can bend into your knee again. And roll back to center. Before we go to the other side, bend your left knee, and you're just going to cross and wrap right thigh over the left. So a reclined Gomukhasana, knee pile pose. You're trying to stack your right knee over your left, holding onto the feet and pulling them down. So pulling them down towards the floor and also away from one another. And let's release. This time, straighten your right leg. Draw your left knee in towards you. And maybe sway that knee a little side to side. See if you can get a little bit clearer on your intention. Carry this into a twist, trying to stack our left hip over our right, reaching out through your left arm, and maybe straightening the left leg as you slide your right hand towards the ankle. It doesn't need to be perfectly straight. Feel your breath travel all the way down to your belly. Bend your left knee, come back through to center, and this time you're trying to stack your left thigh over your right one, holding onto the feet as you press it down, or pull it down, I should say. And let's release. Squeeze your knees in towards your chest one last time. And set yourself up for Shavasana, our final resting pose. Open up and take some space. And you might even imagine yourself laying down directly on the earth. Whether you imagine that as soil or grass or sand, fully connected to your own inner voice, to the rhythms of nature. and connecting to your intention for this new moon. Deepen your breath. Awaken with a little bit of movement, and then bigger movements as you stretch your arms up overhead. And we'll just take a few breaths in a little fetal pose. Roll to one side. Let your head rest in your arm. Like this little seed we planted in the soil, nurturing this little sprout with our intentions. And you can push your hands into the floor, come up into a comfortable seated pose, whatever that might be for you here. Lifting up tall, hands at the heart, Anjali Mudra. Make this connection with yourself. If you have your intention, repeat it internally as a way to anchor it. And we'll close with the chant of Om one time. Inhale to chant, big breath in. Namaste. Thank you so much for doing this new moon slow flow practice with me. After this class, I do recommend grabbing pen and paper, grabbing your journal, and writing down your intention or writing down whatever came up for you during this practice. I would love to know what your intention is. If you're willing to share it, you can leave a comment down below. And if you'd like to work a little bit more with the moon phases, I do have a lunar yoga program on my mobile app. This is content that is exclusive to the mobile app, so not accessible anywhere else. And I would also recommend this meditation if you'd like to stay a little bit longer on your mat. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to practice again with you soon. Namaste.